WWE Night of Champions 2025 is officially in the books. What is up, everybody? It's your girl, Denise Salcedo. Welcome back to the podcast, to the channel. I am currently away from home. So, for those of you wondering, where are all of Denise's cool figures? Where is her really great lighting? Well, it's back at home. And right now, you guys have my lovely Kansas City hotel to take a look at. But I'm feeling good. I just finished watching Night of Champions. I watched the show a couple of hours later than I normally do because I am here for Wrestleverse. And I'm so excited, guys, because I got some really great interviews and I can't wait to drop an interview tomorrow with none other than Sting. So I'll be posting that tomorrow. Keep an eye out for it. It was a bucket list interview for me. So I am over the moon and made the entire trip worth it, guys. But now let's go ahead and dive into what we're here for, which is Night of Champions. So I decided to go in chronological order of how the event actually took place. So let's go ahead and kick things off with Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. So I had a couple of thoughts during this matchup, and of course, we all knew Cody Rhodes was going to win this. For the most part, the King of the Ring was pretty damn predictable. I don't think anybody is sitting here going, oh my God, I didn't see it coming. Nobody is doing that. But regardless, I thought that Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton had a match that was fine for the show that they were on. And by that, I mean that I feel like the crowd in Saudi Arabia was so hot for everything. Like they loved everything, every little thing that occurred in this matchup. They were completely on board. They were sold. They loved it. I felt like they were reacting to everything, even things that I think in your normal American crowds, you probably wouldn't really see people react to certain things. Of course, the big spots like cutters and RKOs and things like that, everyone's going to react to. But there were little moments in the match that made me feel like the crowd was just like really, really interested in both of these guys. And of course, why wouldn't they be? Both Cody Rhodes and Randy are two of the biggest WWE stars of all time. So I almost felt like they didn't really have to go balls to the wall in this match because no matter what, they were going to get a reaction. So the thing that I did like about this match, this wasn't my favorite match of the night. I didn't think it was bad. It just wasn't necessarily when I think of Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, I think I would want them to like just really go out there and, like I said, go balls to the wall. I don't necessarily think they totally did that here. However, it was fine. It didn't matter because the crowd ate it up. Maybe for the TV audience, maybe it was a strong match. Maybe it wasn't a strong match. For me, it wasn't a strong match, but it did the job though. And what I did like was the pacing of this match. I loved how fast it went. I don't even know how long it was, but I enjoyed that I felt like I wasn't there for like a very long time. So I guess that's a good sign, right? Like that's always a good sign if you're not, bored out of your mind watching a matchup. One of the other things that I did like in this match was how many RKOs we did get. And then also, the targeting of Randy's back. That was another big part that played into this match. So this wasn't a bad match by any means, just not a match that I would be, raving about and telling people was so freaking good because I clearly don't feel that way. But during the match, Randy Orton decides to expose the turnbuckle. So it looks like he clearly wanted to hit Cody Rhodes with that exposed turnbuckle. But unfortunately, it pretty much backfires on him because he ends up being the one that goes through the turnbuckle, and eventually Cody Rhodes hits his crossroad and gets the win. And so now you're seeing at the brand new King of the Ring. And then Cody Rhodes did cut a promo afterwards, basically saying that he would be facing, either John Cena or, he would either be facing John Cena or CM Punk, whoever actually won that match. So we already know who the winner of that is. We'll talk more about that match later, but Cody Rhodes will be going on to face John Cena at SummerSlam, which again is what pretty much everyone predicted. So a predictable win, but still nonetheless a decent one. Now, the other thing that I do want to mention is that commentary mentioned that it was incredibly hot in there during this match. They mentioned that the humidity was really high. And it was funny because I was watching on my laptop and I noticed, and I thought, okay, so hear me out. This is not, I don't often watch wrestling on my laptop, but it was funny because I was noticing, I'm like, damn, they're sweating so so freaking much. And I was thinking that it was just because of my laptop that I was noticing the sweat more. And then commentary said how humid it was in there, and I was like, damn. First of all, shout out to every single performer that performed on today's show, because come on, guys, having to walk in humidity alone is a pain in the ass. Now imagine having to put on a whole ass match. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. But now I am so stoked to get into this next match. See, I never like to lie to the people when I think a match is okay, because when I think a match is beyond, when I think a match is really good, I really want people to believe me. I really, really care about whether or not I vouch for a match being good or not. And the match that I'm about to vouch for is, aside from like everything that went down in the main event with John Cena and CM Punk, I truly believe that this one here may have been match of the night. Again, aside from the main event, I do think this was match of the night. This was, and you can argue that it was the match of the night, period. But I loved the matchup that we got between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley. And also, before I actually break down the match and why I loved it so much, can we please give a bonus shout out to Rhea Ripley's makeup? Dude, okay, so as you all know, in Saudi Arabia, the female performers do have to be completely covered up. And so they have to wear bodysuits and all of that, right? And sometimes wearing the bodysuits, it doesn't, it's not as appealing, right, as their normal gear. They can get a little bit more creative and, stuff like that. Thankfully, we're so far away from the t-shirt and tights day when WWE first started doing their partnership with Saudi Arabia. Now at least the performers are more ready. They come out here in such nice gear. But Rhea, her whole entire fit was great. But I love the way that she still found some sort of way to like really pop out and really make the gear look special. And it was through her makeup that I thought she just looked phenomenal. But this match here, I had said earlier today when I was on Busted Open that aside from John Cena and CM Punk, that this was the match I was most looking forward to, because we have seen Rhea and Raquel work together in the past on NXT, and they killed it. I personally believe that the matches between Rhea Ripley and Raquel is what got Raquel, basically sent over to the main roster, because she did so well during those NXT matches. And so, and ever since then, I felt like we had been seeing Raquel, and she had been fine on the main roster, but she hadn't been great the way that she was on NXT. And today was one of the first times that I felt like we actually saw Raquel be great on the main roster. I loved this match so freaking much, and I'm gonna tell you why I love this match so much, because they over delivered. They completely just got so violent with each other. So this part right here that you're seeing on the screen, we saw Raquel Rodriguez basically tie up Rhea Ripley, and then she tied her up in the ropes, but then she started hitting her in her abdomen with these kendo stick shots. And I started to think like, dude, seriously, imagine being in a situation where you're like that and someone is whacking you in the stomach area. Come on, that is so freaking painful. So that part instantly I thought was really, really cool. And the top of the match, we really just saw a lot of Raquel getting the offense in on Rhea Ripley. So an incredible little moment that they had there. Now, this part here that you're seeing on the screen, so usually there are moments where we see people get put through the commentary table, we see people get put to the table, and I have this thing where nothing's worse than when you see someone about to get put through like a table or a commentary table, and then it just doesn't hit. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have that spark, that ignition. And sometimes you're just like, oh yeah, cool, that was fun. Thumbs up, right? No. Can we please give a round of applause to this spot right over here? Because Raquel put Rhea Ripley, she used the lid of the commentary table and placed it above the barricade. But when she slammed Rhea Ripley, that thing sounded so nasty. And she did it with so much pizzazz that it just hit so much better. And I literally went, oh, damn. I wasn't doing a watch along stream today, okay? So no reaction videos. But had I had a reaction video, it would have been to this part right here, because I genuinely think that that part was very, very cool. So shout out to them on that. Now I want to, oh yeah, shout out also to the part where they were hitting each other. Rhea kind of returned the favor to Raquel, where she was hitting her with a belt. And of course, we've seen, people get hit with belts before in WWE and stuff like that, right? But dude, I loved it in particular with this one because, dude, she looked like she was effing her up, bro. She really felt like you were a kid, and kids that got in trouble and that got beat by a belt. They were looking at this and going, oh, damn, she mad because Rhea went to town on Raquel and was just smacking her outside the ring, inside the ring. And I just thought, good, there's so much violence in this. So not only were we getting cool spots that hit hard, but we were also getting an extraordinary amount of violence. And you could feel Rhea's anger. You can feel Rhea's anger, and you can feel Raquel's disgust over Rhea. And that's what I loved about this match. Now, I do want to talk about the ending of, I can't skip to the ending. I almost forgot about Roxanne. So I was expecting Roxanne Perez to come out during this matchup, right? And she did. She attacked Rhea from behind. I felt so stupid though, because as I was watching this unfold, I felt a little silly because when Roxanne Perez came out and she attacked Rhea from behind, I had for a split second forgotten where we were at. I had forgotten we were in Saudi Arabia. I had forgotten all of that. And I thought Roxanne was trying to do like a cosplay of Rhea Ripley. And it took me a second. I was like, oh, she looks like little Rhea Ripley. And I've even said this before with her normal gear. I always feel like Roxanne looks like a little mini Rhea Ripley because they both have that like I shop at Hot Topic kind of vibe. So yeah, it's so it took me a second, but Roxanne did go out there to try to help out her bestie Raquel, or her almost new bestie. It seems like there's a friendship forming there, considering that Liv Morgan is unfortunately injured and out, and so someone's gonna have to step in and become the co-tag team champion with Raquel, and that's looking like it's gonna be Roxanne Perez. So, anyways, when she went out there, I was expecting this, but sadly, Roxanne was not able to really help out her friend Raquel because Rhea still got the win. Now, what I do want to talk about, though, is the finish. Can we please, right now, give a round of applause to the finish of this matchup? So they put a table they balanced it on the top turnbuckle, okay? Now, I don't know how many of you guys noticed this, but that table was completely unbalanced, because if you notice, the legs of the table weren't the same on the same side. On one side, the legs were still stuffed into the table, and then on the other side the legs were out. So basically you had this rockety freaking table balancing on top of the rope. So it was very, very, very scary situation when we saw both women go to the freaking top, and then I see Rhea picking up Raquel. Now, guys, I've interviewed both Raquel and Rhea multiple times, and let me tell you, these girls, they're not tiny, okay? They're not tiny girls whatsoever. So to see them both on top of this table, and then to see Rhea picking her up to do the riptide off the top of the table for the win was one of the sickest things I have seen Rhea do. Might be really up there with one of the sickest things I've seen her do. And then match was wonderful, guys. I really hope that coming out of this match, that Raquel isn't just seen as the girl who is, shadowing Liv Morgan, or as the girl who's probably going to be shadowing Roxanne. I think Raquel proved in this match that she can be a lot more than that. I really think she deserves her flowers for this performance, because I loved their match so freaking much. And this was a great win for Rhea. I really thought that there was a chance that Raquel, it was funny because when I did my predictions, I thought, oh yeah, this is a straight win for Rhea. But then I thought, well, if Roxanne comes in, then that's probably how Raquel gets the win. I think if Raquel would have gotten the win, I would not have been mad about it. Honestly, I wouldn't have, but I did love that riptide off the top of the table. Holy shit, that was so cool. So I was just a big fan of this. So please, guys, give these girls girls their due. Drop them some flowers in the comment section. Flower emoji and say this is for Rhea and Raquel. But now we got to get on to our next matchup. Our next matchup was Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. So I had a couple of thoughts during this, and that is that, we haven't seen Karrion Kross perform in a really long time, like in the ring. Like, it's been sporadic. So one of the things, and I don't know, I don't recall if they had been doing this already before, but I really felt like they shortened Scarlett's portion of the entrance. Did you notice that? Because I felt like they showed her for like a split second, and then like that was it. Usually she has more of a dramatic where she, throws herself and her arms are up in the air and she's doing a whole thing. I miss that. I want to see more of that. So I kind of I don't want them to shorten Scarlett's entrance. I don't know if it was if they I don't know if they had stopped doing this before and maybe I just forgot, or if they just did it here today. Of course, it's always really great to see Sammy, go out there in Saudi Arabia. He's always so happy to be there, and it's just a great moment for him. Now, but for the actual matchup, guys, I wasn't a fan of this. I was not a fan of this matchup. I thought it had a very, very slow start. I thought that this was pretty much a SmackDown match. Like this part was cool though. I did think when Sammy did the moonsault off the barricade, that was fun. But I really did think this felt like a SmackDown match, and at that, like it wasn't even like it wouldn't have even been a top SmackDown match had I been watching this on SmackDown. It just didn't really do much for me, and so for that reason, I wasn't all that big on this one. Sammy eventually won with the haluva kick. And here's the thing, though. I really do think that because we haven't seen Cross on TV, I really think we should have been coming out of this match talking about how Karrion Kross should be seen more on TV, because that's been the discussion for Kross for a while now. People have been like, "Where's Kross? Where's Kross? He should get pushed. He's a top merchandise seller." All of this stuff. I really thought that in this match, we should have been talking more about him as a wrestler. I don't feel that we necessarily got that. Like, I don't feel that's really the conversation. In fact, the conversation is just about whether or not Karrion Kross takes back bumps. That's the conversation on social media. It's not, holy shit, this match was so awesome. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep making sure to see more Karrion Kross matches. No, that's not the conversation. So I do think that it would have been better had Cross made a bigger impact in this matchup. Because of other than that, like I could have easily, like literally, if you didn't want to watch the entire show, you could have skipped this match, which was very unfortunate, but it's just how I felt about this matchup. Alrighty, and our next match that we got to get into is Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship. Guys, I was so mad when I saw. Well, here's the thing. So all of the results got spoiled for me, by the way, all of them, and so it's fine. Whatever. I know what happens during these shows. But when I saw the news and I didn't know what had happened yet. Like I had just seen on the internet that Solo Sikoa had defeated Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship, and my reaction was nothing. It was nothing. It was deadpan. That silence you heard on the audio, that face that you saw right now on the screen, that was my reaction. I did not move. I did not jump. I did not scream. I did not do anything. I just thought that was it. They really did it. Here's the thing. I feel like they're holding back on Jacob Fatu. I feel that Jacob Fatu has gotten immense reactions. He's a freaking exciting performer to watch. I'm not just saying this because he's my AI husband. No, legit. You guys see it. You guys hear the crowds. You guys, you see it. I don't got to tell you. You see it. The crowds really like Jacob Fatu. He's a guy that has gotten over because he's got so much adrenaline and he's very entertaining to watch wrestling. Now, I feel like he didn't even get that many opportunities to even defend the United States Championship. Like there's still a lot of people I would have really liked to see him defend the title up against, and we didn't really get that. And so when I saw that Solo Sikoa had won the title, I figured this was just them, again, extending this. But I also think that they're holding back Jacob Fatu. I don't feel like if Jacob Fatu what if this was a slingshot? If I was holding a slingshot and I was trying to slingshot Jacob Fatu, I feel like WWE isn't pulling the string far enough back so that Jacob Fatu can go as far as possible. I feel they're too afraid to pull, and I feel like they're barely doing it. And he's like, I'm flying, I'm flying, I'm flying, but boom, falls there because I think he could do so much more. I mean, much more bigger. I would have preferred for him to beat Solo Sikoa. I would prefer for him to be a dominant freaking champion, an unstoppable beast, because that's the kind of performer Jacob Fatu is. So, of course, I did not love Fatu dropping the title. However, I 100% understand why they did it, and it was just to extend this really, really long story that we're going to see until the day we die, which is the Bloodline storyline. And we're going to see so many different iterations of it, right? But I feel like they kind of I think they hit the pause button there with Fatu. I don't like it. I want him to like beat down everybody and get his title back stat. But then again, Jacob Fatu could be primed to win the world championship at some point. Maybe not right now, but at some point. But here's the thing: we did see the return of Tama Tonga. I'm sorry, excuse me, Tongaloa. My bad. And so we saw the return of Tongaloa. JC Mateo had distracted the referee. Tongaloa came out and went after Fatu. But so that was one of the big little moments that we had there, to a certain extent. Big, if you want to call it big. All right. So then afterwards, so he goes in there, he distracts the referee, whatever. He goes out there, he attacks him. Solo tries to get the win after this, but it just doesn't happen. And then finally, we end up seeing the debut of Hikaleo, who you guys now know as Tala Tonga. Yes, guys, his name is Tala Tonga because he's the Tala Tonga. I'm sorry. But Tala Tonga is going to be the best name, and the best thing about Hikaleo in WWE is going to be the name. Now, I recognize that there's a lot of people here who may have never seen Hikaleo wrestle. There's probably a lot of people here that are really excited. Now, if you've seen him wrestle, you know what to expect. I am not a fan of him as a wrestler, so don't expect like 5-star matches. All right, don't expect that, and that's fine. Not everyone's out there to have 5-star matches. It's just the thing that I throw out there. He's more going to be imposing for his size. I think his size is going to be really the imposing thing. And the fact that his name is Talatonga. That's hella freaking funny. But that's kind of going to be the extent of it all. I want Jacob Fatu to beat the shit out of Talatonga, Smala Tonga, Medium Tonga, Redheaded Tonga. I don't care what Tonga, Tonga with the sweet tooth, Tonga that eats cheesecake, Tonga with the pizza, Tonga with the this. I don't care. Hollywood Tonga, Kansas City Tonga, the Big Apple Tonga. I don't care what Tonga. Beat them all up. Beat them all up. I want Jacob Fatu to run amok, get his title back, beat the crap out of the bloodline, and push this man to the freaking top. This is the guy that should be going through all of these because he's like just a stronger performer, and prime him up, build him up, put him on the pedestal, put him on the top of this freaking tripod, and put him in the top. All right, that's what I want to see, and I hope that we build to that. And the way to start it is by having them beat all of them, everybody. So that's where we're at. Solo Sikoa is now the brand new United States champion, and he's now flanked by all of these guys here. Alrighty, next up we have Asuka versus Jade Cargill. Now, can we stop in the name of love? All right, I'm getting too crazy. All right, guys, I ate a bunch of jelly beans during the show. I ate some Razzles. I went to Cracker Barrel. I'm losing my mind right now, and plus I'm having a good day, so that's why I'm kind of going cray cray. But anyway, so Jade Cargill, can we take a second and really look at her gear? Holy cow. So the thing that we saw with the girls today was that most of the girls, I think if not all the girls, wore black bodysuits. And so Jade coming out in the white bodysuit, oh, she completely stood out from everybody. She looked like a goddess. She really, really did. And with the, the hair that she has, the white hair that she has with the curls and just the makeup, the white eyeliner that she had. all of that I was so in love with. She had the I'm about to become queen of the ring look, and I thought she just nailed this look. Now, the matchup itself, I didn't think was the best match. I thought it was all right. I didn't really think like there were too many moments in the match that were even memorable. I don't even remember that much from it. Like even watching these pictures, I'm like, all right, like yeah, so that happened, cool, but whatever. And I really think that I actually thought that her match with Naomi at WrestleMania was better than the one that she had with Asuka, which was a little surprising because I was hoping that Asuka would kind of take her to town, and I was hoping that they would have a better match because Asuka's a really strong performer, but I don't think they really, I didn't really think it got there at all. So I was a little bit underwhelmed with this matchup. With Raquel and Rhea, I was like over delivered, overwhelmed. Give the girls the flowers. I thought this one kind of just it was just there. It happened. It happened. But Jade, of course, wins with the Jaded, and she gets the win. She's now the beautiful, stunning queen of the ring, and she looked absolutely gorgeous. And I can't wait to see her, go after that championship belt. And last but not least, we got to get into the main event, which is CM Punk versus John Cena. So this is the match that everybody was anticipating. This is I can't even safely say that this is the last time we're gonna see John Cena and CM Punk against each other. You never know what can happen. But at least this would be this is John Cena's obviously his last match in Saudi Arabia. It's his we're in his farewell tour, so that's going to be the last time that he's there. So the fans were really enjoying that. One of my favorite things that we did get to see from the fans was during this match, like at the very top of it, they brought out their cell phones, and they were shining the little lights, and they were chanting Ole. I thought that looked super super cool, so I did like that whole thing. Now, for the match itself, I did really enjoy this match, though. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought this was a really good main event. This was definitely better than John Cena and Cody. I even thought this was better than John Cena and Randy Orton. I did enjoy this matchup, and I think a lot of the big reasons why I did enjoy this matchup is I thought it reminded me a lot of the work that they had done in their Money in the Bank match. So I had just watched it recently for my Patreon. I did a watch along for, and that was one of the matches that I chose to do a watch along for. So it was very fresh in my mind. And I thought there was a lot of similarities that reminded me of that match, and some of which included the way that John Cena would avoid the GTS, the way that he countered the GTS, like the reversals that we were seeing, John hitting all of the AAs and CM Punk kicking out. That was very, very similar to a lot of what we had seen in that Money in the Bank match that they had. Of course, an entirely different ending, but a lot of similarities in the body of the matchup. Now, one of the things we didn't see in that matchup that we did see in this one is Seth Rollins. Now, at this point, though, this is when the match kind of goes and starts to get super overbooked. A lot starts to happen here. So let's follow along with me. Seth Rollins goes out there with Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. He brings out the Money in the Bank briefcase. So everyone's pretty much expecting a cash in. It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna blow their load all in one night. Like, oh, come on, like we ain't gonna have everything happen here. So I think we knew that for the most part. And so his guys go out there and attack CM Punk, and put him through the commentary table, and then so Seth Rollins calls out for a referee, and we get a throwback to Charles Robinson's really famous run where he's running down the ramp, and he's running, and we got one here today in Saudi Arabia. I really did like that seeing Charles Robinson run, because I always remember that about Charles Robinson. It was just an insane visual. So shout out to Charles Robinson for doing that run in that humidity. But he's taken out by John Cena. So John Cena takes out the referee there and goes and gets into Seth Rollins' face and starts being like, hey, what the hell, man? Like, why are you doing this during my match? And so during this, we end up seeing John Cena takes out Seth Rollins, and then we get back into the ring. His guys go after John Cena, and then finally Sami Zayn goes out there. He ends up taking out Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And then we get this moment where finally CM Punk and John Cena are left alone and they do this hug and this handshake. And I'm thinking, oh God, what's silly? Like, do not Cody Rhodes, John Cena this from WrestleMania. Please do not do this at this point in this match. And so John Cena does his famous, dirty look that he gives to the camera. But CM Punk knew that was coming because John Cena was going for a low blow. CM Punk knew it was coming. He avoided it and was about to get John Cena with the GTS. But then everyone's favorite Seth Rollins came in and hit CM Punk with the briefcase, hit him with the curb stomp. John Cena tossed him out of the ring and took the win just like that. So basically, Seth Rollins won this match for John Cena. Now, here's my honest to God thoughts about this. I'm kind of tired of seeing Seth Rollins and CM Punk. My God, I'm tired of this already. I've liked it, I've enjoyed it, but it's too much already. I feel like we've seen way too much of Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I thought it was over when they had their match at Raw on Netflix. I thought we were going to be done then. And then we got more. And then we got more. And then with the Elimination Chamber thing happened. And then after that, we see this. And God, I'm already blanking on everything else that happened in between. I'm over CM Punk and Seth Rollins. However, if you're over CM Punk and Seth Rollins, if you agree with me, guess what? Too bad. We're just gonna have to suck it up because it's gonna continue to go. Because this is not the end. This is not the end, my friends. He's gonna have to get his revenge again on Seth Rollins. At least I think so. He's gonna have to get his revenge on Seth Rollins for all of that. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention that Penta came out during this too. By the way, there was just a bunch of shit that happened with everything here. So Penta, Sammy, Bronson, Braun. It was a melee. A lot happened. Charles Robinson. I mean, it was what it was. But anyways, liked the match. Towards the end, it got a little bit too overbooked, but by the end of it, we got where we're at, which is what everyone knew we were going to get at, which is John Cena holding up his Universal Championship match. And that, my friends, was Night of Champions. So a decent show, nothing too crazy. If you missed it, you could have probably watched the highlights and you would be fine. But if you don't want to, if you want to make sure, but I do suggest that if you do want to sit down and watch any match, please watch Raquel and Rhea. Of course, watch the main event too, but give Raquel and Rhea a chance because I really thought that they killed it. So that's how I felt about Night of Champions, guys. Thank you so much for your patience on my late review. I'm trying to do so much. I'm trying to get, interviews and content and podcasts and blah. There's just a lot happening. So I'm happy. I'm in a good mood, but I'm hella busy and there's a lot going on. So thank you so much for your patience. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to the channel. I'm really trying to grow the page so much more. And then if you want to watch some more pro wrestling content, check out this video right here because this is the video that YouTube thinks that you're specifically going to like based on videos you've already watched in the past. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everyone.